Hello friends, in this audio video lecture we will learn about beam and column. We will learn specifications and casting procedure and learn about steel reinforcement of this elements. As we know in earlier video I have explained specifications are nothing but set of design rules. Now, we will see about columns in detail. Reinforced concrete column is a structural member designed to carry compressive loads, composed of concrete with an embedded steel frame to provide reinforcement. For design purposes the columns are separated into two categories. Short column, slender columns. Based on height and width ratio the columns are classified as short column and long column. For short columns the height and cross-sectional dimension ratio is less than 1:12. The strength of short column is controlled by the strength of the material and the geometry of the cross-section. The reinforcing bars are placed axially in the column to provide additional axial stiffness. Long columns are those which have height to cross-section dimension ratio more than 1:12. These columns are generally weaker than short column of same cross-sectional area and are not generally preferred. The types column based on their shape are: spiral column. Spiral columns are cylindrical column with continuons helical bar wrapping around the column. The spiral acts to provide support in the transverse direction and prevent the column from barreling. The amount of reinforcement required to provide additional load carrying capacity greater than or equal to that attributed from the shell is to compensate for the strength lost when the shell spalls off. With further thickening of the spiral rebar the axially loaded concrete becomes the weakest link in the system and the strength contribution from additional rebar does not take effect until column has failed axially. At that point the additional strength from spiral comes into play and prevents catastrophic failure, instead giving rise to a much slower ductile failure. Tied columns have closed ties spaced approximately uniformly across the column. The spacing of the ties is limited in that they must be close enough to prevent barreling failure between them and far enough apart they do not interfere with the setting of the concrete. The ACI codebook puts an upward limit on the spacing between ties. If the ties are spaced too far apart the column will experience shear failure and barrel between the ties.
RCC, that is reinforced cement concrete column, is a structural member of a RCC frame structured building. It's a vertical member which transfers load from slab and beam directly to the subsequent soil. A whole building stands on column. Most of the building failure happens due to column failure, and most of the column failure happens not for the design fault but for the poor construction practices. So it is very important to know the construction process of the RCC column properly.
The general steps involved in construction of RCC column are as below. Step 1 column layout work. Step 2 column reinforcement work. Step 3 column form work. Step 4 pouring concrete into column.
Step 1 column layout work. In this stage of work, the location of columns are determined practically in the field. It is done by laying rope according to grids shown in the drawing and then mark the location of column related to the rope. In drawing, column locations are shown related to grid line with dimension practically in the field. Ropes are our grid lines. So we place column related to rope line by measuring dimensions shown in the drawing. Drawing is shown in the next slide. Step 2 column reinforcement work. After making the column location, we then start to place reinforcement as instructed in the structural drawing. This is normally described in the drawing line. C1 12/16 mm pie and stirrups 10 mm pie at 4 inch center to center. That means column C1 will have 12 number of 16 mm diameter bar as vertical bars and 10 mm diameter steel should be placed 4 inch center to center as a stirrup. or C2 85 20 8520 mm 5 plus 10 hash 16 mm 5 and stirrup 10 mm at 4 inch plus 6 to 6 inch center to center. This is normally described in the drawing like C1 12 has 16 mm 5 and stirrup 10 mm 5 at 4 inch center to center. That means column C1 will have 12 number of 16 mm diameter bar as vertical bar and 10 mm diameter steel should be placed 4 inch center to center as stirrups. Or C2 8 hash 20 mm 5 plus 10 hash 16 mm 5 and stirrups 10 mm 5 at 4 inch plus 6 inch center to center. This C2 column reinforcement specification means that it will have 8 numbers of 20 mm diameter bar as well as 10 numbers of 16 mm diameter bar as vertical reinforcement and 4 plus 6 inch center to center of stirrup placement means middle half portion of the clear height of column will have 6 inch center to center spacing of the stirrup and upper 1/4 as well as bottom 1/4 height of column clear height will hold stirrups at 4 inch center to center spacing. Step 3. Column formwork. In building, floor height is normally kept 10 feet. If the slab has beam, then we having to pour concrete up to the beam bottom level. Suppose beam height specified in drawing is 1 foot 6 inch. So the casting height of our column will be 8 feet 6 inch and our formwork height will be 8 foot 6 inch. But one thing should be considered here is that dropping concrete from above 5 feet height isn't suggested during pouring because it leads concrete segregation. So we should make one side of column within 5 feet height range. After casting 5 feet of column, we just lift the short side up to the full casting height of the column next day. Another way to cast column without segregation is to keep a small window at 5 feet level of full height formwork. After casting up to that level, close the window and cast the rest of the column. Now step 4. Pouring concrete into column. Casting column is easy. For small quantity of concrete, volume normally constructors depends on machine mixed concrete, and for large concrete quantity an order ready mixed concrete. Because if moving pump with ready mixed concrete is used, do not exceed 5 feet height range for dropping concrete. That would be difficult. Leave it to dry for 3-4 days by regularly watering the freshly casted column.
Now we will learn about beams.
RCC beams. A beam is a structural element that is capable of withstanding load primarily by resisting against bending. The bending force induced into the material of the beam as a result of external load, own weight, span and external reaction to this load is called a bending moment. Beams are characterized by their profile, shape of cross section, their length and their material. Concrete can provide a cost effective solution offering a composite beam and floor solution which will reduce overall depth and height with connection developed to your requirement. Beams are traditionally descriptions of building or civil engineering structural element, but smaller structures such as truck or automobile frames, machine frames and other mechanical or structural system contain beam structures that are designed and analyzed in a similar fashion. Historically, beams are squared timbers but are also metal, stone or combinations of wood and metal such as pitch, beams generally carry vertical gravitational forces but can also be used to carry horizontal loads. Example, loads due to an earthquake or wind or in tension to resist after thrust as a tie beam or compression as a collar beam. The load carried by a beam are transferred to column, walls or girders, which then transfer the force to the adjacent structural compression member. In light frame construction, joist may rest on beam. The beams are classified on the basis of their supports. The classification of beams based on their supports are as below. Simply supported beam, a beam supported on the ends which are free to rotate and have no moment resistance. Second one, fixed beam, a beam supported on both ends and restrained from rotation. Overhanging beam, a simple beam extending beyond its support on one end. Double overhanging beam, a simple beam with both ends extending beyond its support on both ends. Continuous beam, a beam extending over more than two supports. Cantilever beam, a projecting beam fixed only at one end. Trussed beam, a beam strengthened by adding a cable or rod to form a truss. The types of beams are shown in the next slide, that is simple beam, continuous beam and semi-continuous and cantilever beam. Thin walled beams. A thin walled beam is a very useful type of beam or structure. The cross section of thin walled beam is made up from thin panels connected among themselves to create closed or open cross section of a beam. Typical closed section include round, square and rectangular tubes. Open section includes I-beam, T-beam, L-beam and so on. Thin walled beams exist because their bending stiffness per unit cross-sectional area is much more higher than for solid cross-section such as rod or bar. In this way, steep beams can be achieved with minimum weight. Thin walled beams are particularly useful when the material is composite laminates. Now, construction of beams. Step 1. Lay down the steel beam. As the adjacent picture shows, beams are the core of the plinth beam. So beams have loop every 6 inch that holds it together. Here loop means stirrups. Second, step 2. Set up reinforcement. Before concrete is poured, reinforcement has to be established to provide rectangular shape to the beam. This takes majority of the effort as planks have to be nailed properly in place, and once concrete is poured, they need to be removed. Pour the concrete. Third step. Next step is to pour the concrete. As concrete is poured, mason ensures that it is evenly spread and smoothen out any edge. He has need to ensure the height of the beam is consistent throughout the periphery. Remove formwork. So now concrete turns solid within 24 hours, and final step is to remove the planks and formwork, leaving the beam intact. Hello. If you like the video, please do share it and subscribe.